Okay, guys, this is very impressive. Like, truthfully, Maureen, and we just had a conversation before this. I asked her what her last name was, and
Yeah.
she goes, well, I actually don't put my last name on social media because someday when I get a husband, I'm going to take his last name, and then it's going to screw up all my SEO. So I'm going to wait until that day. Who thinks like that? Who thinks that far in the future at 21 and has that much strategy? You guys just heard the strategy right now. It's seriously impressive. I have one question about what you just said though.
Yeah.
When you say right now, I think of Maureen, like you work very hard, very smart, intelligent, you grow this business. You're gonna have kids someday, and then you wanna ease off and put all the effort into raising children, which I have a ton of respect for.
Mhm.
Something I've noticed in my life and with other very driven people, actually just people no matter what,
Mhm.
happiness really stems from having worthwhile goals. Like you
Mhm.
always really need to be working towards something. My
Mhm.
first question is, do you agree with that or do you disagree?
Yeah, 100%.
Okay, so you agree with it.
Mhm.
Is raising children enough of a worthwhile goal, or do you think at some point this is going to drive you crazy and you're going to go full force back into the business?
Great question. I think I want to do exactly what my mom did, which my mom was a stay-at-home mom, but she also had a horse boarding business, so she runs a farm and she does wedding photography. So when my sister and I were little, she eased off in training horses and she eased off in her wedding photography business to fully
Yeah,
focus on us. As we got older, we actually helped her in those things. So it's like, I think the best thing I've heard about parenting, and obviously I can't speak to this. I'm not a parent, so I don't even feel like I should have an opinion on this. But I think babysitting, I've noticed this. It's like you don't need to entertain kids so much as like just bring them along with what you're doing. So like when I was young, it's like my mom was fully stay at home, but then we would go with her to the barn to like help her train horses and we'd watch her do that, and it was a learning experience for us, and her number one priority was always, I always felt like it was us, her
yeah,
children, but she was still running a successful horse training business and she still did wedding photography, and like she helped me set up one of my first businesses, which is like I went around and I took photos for people and she taught me how to use a camera and she taught me how to do that. So it's like I would love the idea of like being able to ease off of my business so it's fully optional and it's still paying really well every month while my kids are young. That way I can just focus on the kids, because I think like I want to have that sense of peace. I never want to work out of a place of necessity. I want to work out of a place of like it be an option.
yeah.
But then like when my kids are older, like I'll do this when I'm babysitting my cousin. I'm like, hey, do you want to like help me structure this email? And like it literally becomes, I don't like using tech around him, but like we'll take out a piece of paper and I'm like, here's how we're gonna do marketing. And we practice spelling as we write an email. So I'm actually getting so much done with him with me. And he's like 9, 10 years old right now. We get so much done together, and I'm like, that is such a sense of fulfillment, because I realized the thing that I love about my business most
Yeah.
is motivating and nurturing. And that's the thing I love about watching my little cousin is like my job is being positive and motivating, nurturing and teaching. And what is my job right now as a coach? I motivate, I nurture, and I teach. So I think you can make the biggest impact with your immediate family, obviously. And I think a lot of people will focus on business because they think, oh, I'm making the biggest difference in the world. Where personally, I believe that like my biggest impact will be made on my kids' lives. Like my mom changed my life way more than she changed the life of that one wedding she took a photo of
Right.
5 years ago. Like she had the biggest impact on my life. So I want to always have my kids as the number one priority there. But then I think when they get older, be able to work them into it becomes a learning experience, it becomes a bonding activity where we can do it together.
Yeah.
Because I think a business can be whatever you want. Like at some phases, I could just do email marketing for 3 years. If
Mhm.
I'm teaching my kids how to spell, it's like we could do it together, which is cool.